There will be ups and downs in the global economy. Some will cause panic and turmoil, leading to an increase in civil unrest. The markets are shaking right now in anticipation of the Federal Reserve's decision to increase rates or not. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we will discuss how they are now claiming not just one, but there are many claims that there will be a U.S. recession in 2017. So let's begin right here with this article out of the Telegraph. The risk of a U.S. recession next year is rising fast. The Federal Reserve has no margin for error. And remember, this is out of the Telegraph, not out of the Money GPS, my book. What we're hearing, what we're seeing in the media are little blips that analysts are suggesting there is no other way to go except for down. Then you get a lot of those same individuals who say the Federal Reserve simply needs to print money, simply needs to decrease interest rates, and they'll allow it to continue on. And, in many ways I agree. However, it does destroy the currency. Liquidity is suddenly drying up, and that's something that is very frightening, because what we have here is a system that needs to continue to consume. It needs to continue to expand at the same time. And if liquidity is drying up, that presents a very big problem for those in the financial sort of connected world here. And all of this points to the Federal Reserve. Will they raise interest rates or not? If they raise interest rates, this will ultimately be too costly for the government to afford. We know that. It is a mathematical certainty that as of now, it's impossible to pay back. So if it increases, it just makes that time frame shorter. Simultaneously, we find if there's a decrease in interest rates, perhaps down to zero or into the negative territory, they can actually prolong everything. But when you take this down into the negative or even continue on with this virtually 0% interest rates, what we're doing here is we're skewing and distorting everything, and it causes a lot of problems in the economy. You're unable to follow certain things. Look at the shipping industry. It is an absolute disaster right now. And there's more in the article here, but essentially what we're looking at is all pointing fingers at the Fed. You have to fix everything. New emails. Now, this is all about Hillary Clinton. If anybody listened or watched the debate, it's quite funny. Seemed like a typical political talk. New emails. Hillary needs podium and, quote, cannot walk around. So these emails here got through the Freedom of Information Act request, which is wonderful that there are groups out there doing this all the time, and I give them all the support for this. And essentially, what we've seen here is that Hillary Clinton, as early as 2009, needed a podium and cannot walk around, which is a basic function of humanity, cannot walk around. And this shows you the true health. There's a lot more in here. I'm not going to get into it, but basically goes into some different situations with Hillary Clinton. Very quickly, I'm going to mention a few things. Apple CEO Tim Cook has an idea for the future of eliminating cash. He's talking about the Apple Pay system, which uses your fingerprint, biometrics, and everything else that they've got coming for us to pay for everything, link it all together into one database. And this here is, I understand what's going on. It makes life easier. It makes life convenient. Simultaneously, we find, though, that this does eliminate some of the freedom, some of the liberties. That's why we have to avoid that. I personally, although I do have an iPhone, I don't put my fingerprint. I don't have the Apple Pay. Now, perhaps they're stealing it anyway, but I'm not going to opt in. That's the whole point. Don't opt into the system. If they offer you this service making your life easier, you still have the choice. You still have this desire. Do I want to make my life a little bit easier, or can I just pull out my cash and pay that way. Or, there's also other things that we are seeing where individuals could simply take an extra moment to do what they need to do instead of giving in to the system all the time. That's why we need to make those little steps. Amazon eyes internet service offering. Amazon is expanding into all different territories very rapidly, and this is one company that is overtaking a lot of other industries. The reason I mention this, and it goes with Google, it goes with all sorts of different corporations that are expanding, they're expanding into new territory. So traditionally, you would see Google as a search engine. However, in more recent years, they're simply just buying up everything. I mean, they're making robots, military robots. They are just getting into all different territory. Amazon is doing a very similar thing, and you're seeing Facebook buying other companies. They have a lot of money, and they're spending it. So these corporations, which are at the top, don't think of them as what they were traditionally known for. Think of them as corporations who are bigger than countries, who are there, and we need to really pay close attention to what they're buying and what they're doing, because they're all interconnected with the government structure. So it's very key to know. And this, last but not least, is basically talking about how hormone-disrupting chemicals are responsible for at least $340 billion of health-related costs each year in the United States. And this comes from products from plastics, metal food containers, detergents, flame retardants, toys, and cosmetics. These things always end up in the water supply. They end up in, different things that we may use in our daily lives, and unfortunately these are causing a very, very big problem for humanity. It's a topic for another video. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. If you want to look through the book, just head over to Amazon. They have a look inside feature which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.